All right, today we're going to tackle a huge shift happening in one of the biggest tech markets on the planet, China's smartphone scene. It feels like the old rules just got thrown out the window, and we're here to figure out what the new game is all about.
And a very warm welcome to the Salon. This is where we get together to really unpack the future of that little device we all have in our pockets.
So, our guide on this journey is a fascinating report. It's the 2025 China Mobile Industry Social Ecosystem White Paper, put together by the social media giant Weibo and the research experts at Ipsos. They've done a deep dive on all the latest trends to map out what's coming. And the report kicks off with a pretty provocative question. For what feels like forever, the smartphone market has just been this rocket ship of non-stop growth. But now, sales are starting to level off. So, we've got to ask, is the golden age actually over?
That question really sets the stage for our first section here. It seems the market hasn't just slowed down, it's kind of hit a wall. The era of easy, explosive growth, that's come to a screeching halt.
Just look at this. After a solid year and a half of growth, smartphone shipments in China suddenly dipped by 4% in the second quarter of 2025. Now, this isn't just a tiny blip on the radar. It's a huge signal that the market is saturated. We've officially entered what's called a replacement market. The game isn't about getting new people to buy a phone anymore. It's about convincing us to upgrade the ones we already have.
And that is getting a whole lot harder. I love this quote from an expert at the China CCID Research Institute. They said people are just tired of toothpaste-style innovations. Those tiny little upgrades that feel like you're just squeezing the last bit out of an old idea. Because of that, people like you and me are now holding onto our phones for nearly 3 years.
But okay, it's not all doom and gloom. While those tiny updates are falling flat, there are a few massive technological shifts that are actually getting people genuinely excited about phones again. The report really zeroes in on 3 game changers. We're talking about way smarter AI, the ability to connect via satellite from pretty much anywhere, and this idea of seamless ecosystem interconnectivity, where all your devices just work together perfectly.
And you can see brands are already all in on these. In just the first half of 2025, the number of new AI phone models jumped 34%, and satellite phones were up 29%. But check this out. The real explosion is in ecosystem-ready phones, up a whopping 84%. It's pretty obvious that companies are betting the farm on this interconnected future.
But here's the thing. This isn't just tech for tech's sake. Each one of these innovations taps into a really basic human need. We want AI to take care of the boring stuff for us. We want satellite communication for that peace of mind, knowing we're never truly disconnected. And we crave an ecosystem that gives us this feeling of effortless control over our digital lives.
So with all this new tech, who is actually buying these phones? Well, the report says the whole idea of an average smartphone user is basically dead. Instead, the market is now being driven by 3 very specific, very different groups of people.
And the group that's growing the fastest is what the report calls the AI pioneers. I mean, look at that number. Their segment has grown by an incredible 117%. They've more than doubled. This is where all the action is right now.
So who are these AI pioneers? Well, they're super tech-savvy, and they're obsessed with efficiency. They don't see their phone as a toy. They see it as a serious productivity tool. They are demanding a powerful AI assistant that can summarize their meetings, a camera that uses AI to get the perfect shot every time, and basically any feature that saves them even a little bit of time.
The second group, they're the travel enthusiasts. For these folks, a phone is basically their adventure sidekick. They care about capturing and sharing experiences more than anything. So what do they want? An absolutely phenomenal camera, a battery that will last all day long, no questions asked, and a design that can take a few knocks.
And finally, we have the business elites. These are the professionals who basically run their lives from their phones. Their device is a mobile office for high-stakes work. They need top-notch security, flawless productivity tools, and a premium design that also works as a kind of status symbol. And that's exactly why so many are drawn to foldable phones. That huge screen for multitasking is a total game changer for them.
So you have these 3 very different groups. Clearly, the old way of marketing a phone to everyone just doesn't work anymore. So how do brands win? Well, they have to completely change the conversation. It's not about what the phone does, it's about what it does for you.
They're doing this with something called scenario-based marketing. And the idea is actually really simple, but so powerful. Stop listing a bunch of technical specs and start showing people how your features solve the real-life problems. It's all about putting the technology into a specific, relatable context. And this table just lays it out perfectly. Look at the difference. For an AI pioneer, a boring spec like 100x digital zoom becomes instantly create a perfect meeting summary with AI. For the travel enthusiast, 50-megapixel sensor turns into captures stunning portraits on your vacation. And for the business elite, who cares about 16 gigs of RAM when you can effortlessly present from your lightweight foldable phone? It's a whole new ballgame.
Okay, let's wrap this all up. When you boil it all down, this report leaves us with 3 absolutely crucial takeaways about the future of the phone in your hand.
First things first, real, meaningful innovation is now king. The days of selling phones just because they were new are long gone. In this new replacement market, only those big, game-changing leaps like super smart AI or a flawless device ecosystem are going to be enough to make us want to upgrade.
Second takeaway, the consumer has fragmented into different tribes. Any brand still trying to design for one average user is going to get left behind. The future belongs to the companies that truly understand the unique needs of these high-value groups, the AI pioneers, the travel enthusiasts, the business elites, and then build products and tell stories just for them.
And finally, maybe the most important lesson of all, context is the new currency. The winning strategy is no longer about having the longest spec sheet. It's about being the best at connecting your tech to real-life situations. It's not what the technology is, it's why it matters to someone's life. The best brands are going to be the best storytellers.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As our phones get smarter and more woven into the fabric of our lives, what's that one real-life scenario, that one perfect solution to a nagging problem that would finally be the thing to convince you that it's time to upgrade?